Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Bees and Blossoms. I've been having a lot of questions about how everything's going with the garden and everything, so I figured we'd just take a quick little walk around so I could show you. One thing that we have started discovering, especially now that the horses are gone, are a lot of plants that were already here on the property. One of them being blueberries. Now they're small over here because they don't get light because of all of these weed trees that grew up, but they're in here and they are producing berries. So eventually all of this will be cleaned up and we will start feeding them and giving them more attention. Let's get that bucket off the banana tree. See the pond today. All the duckweed's been blown over because it's windy. It's beautiful. It's beautiful weather. So, go. Oh, look, something's been digging around the base of the banana tree, but she's doing okay. She's doing good. Pineapples are in this raised bed so that when they do take off, the pigs can't eat them. It's time to mow. We have some of these. So we had horses, and when you have horses, you have different grains and hays and things that they eat. So these are coming up from something in the horses' diets that are now growing. So we just mow them. They're not ugly. I actually like them. Apple tree still surrounded by barrels. We still have deer coming up, so we don't want them chowing on her. But she's doing good. Getting well established. This lady, her stalk is really thickening up. She's starting to get branches lower on, and her canopy has really filled out. So hopefully by next year we'll have some blossoms. We don't expect a lot, but look at these wasps. Loving this tree. Are you making a nest in here? Because that's not gonna fly. Y'all need to move. We still have to get the dogwood tree and get Gabe's grave situated. The mulberry has a lot of leaves on her, so she's doing good. So is the fig that's out there. It's coming along. Oh, we gotta fix this. The wind keeps blowing this over. Might take it off for right now. That's another Japanese plum. The deer ate the leaves off of her, but she's grown well. She was here and now she's up there, so you can see the difference. We have this over here with pumpkins going on. We're attempting a pumpkin patch. We know that they're a crawler, so they will outgrow this space. But this is just to keep the deer and hogs from getting in here and eating the plants and plowing all of this area up. We do have the wild boar that are coming up from the back because they're building so much out here. It's taking away the animals' area to live, which in my opinion, we don't need any more subdivisions. If anything, tear the old ones down and rebuild new ones. But they won't do it. They got to tear down the woods. I had an ant on my foot. There. Okay, so now let's take a look at the garden. Oh, this didn't get latched. I'll have to fix that. We try to keep this latched because they can open it. And we've had animals in here before. This is going to be it for right now. So here we go. Everything that's up. This is potatoes. We've got squash and zucchini. These are a chocolate bell pepper here, finishing off the row of the indeterminate tomatoes. Those are slicers. The squash, best year we've had so far. One of the things that we're doing differently that we've never done before is, here's a good example. If you look, we are coming in and we are trimming off any low branches that look diseased or are touching the ground. And one thing that we've seen is we have seen a boar bug, which is what they lay their larvae in the dirt, and that's what eats the stem of your squash. So we've got to start keeping an eye on that too. But as you can see, we've got squash growing, and then we also have zucchinis. So we're excited to get those guys harvested. There he is right there. There's one. So come look with me. See this guy right here? Let's see. I need you to land. He needs to go. He is a bad bug. That guy right there. And he just, see that little red spot? He just laid an egg. And I just squished it, and I'm gonna squish him. If I can. Collect him for the bug board. Maybe I can just... So, we got to get those taken care of because I don't want him killing my squash because they're doing very well. Shoo. Anyway, you can look down the row and we've got flowers coming up almost every plant and fruit. Just so exciting. I mean, look at all that squash. One thing that we really focused on, what we've been doing, is we've been building our soil. And this year, we are really seeing a difference. We've grown healthier plants that established themselves first before they started putting out fruit. And that's exactly what you want. You want a healthy plant. A plant that puts off fruit early is a distressed plant. And you don't want that. You want a nice, healthy plant before you start getting any kind of fruit. So here's the tomato trellis. This is just an old chain link fence post that Steve took and put up there, and PVC tees on 10-foot T-posts. And then we got the string. Look, there's a stink bug. We're gonna have to neem oil it. But we have got all of our tomatoes are up and doing healthy. Now these little ones here in the middle, those are where big ones died, so I replaced them with just cherry tomato. And we have blossoms coming up on all of our tomato plants, which, I said tomato, not potato. Yeah, which are going to turn into tomatoes. So that's exciting too. And they're doing extremely well. We're gonna get, these are indeterminate, so they will continue to produce all year long as we keep them pruned. And if you look, see, we're trimming them to keep their base nice and open for good airflow, because we are in Northeast Florida and we do have a humid climate. So you want to reduce the amount that the leaves touch the ground, and you want to open up that airflow. Just make sure you have a nice good airflow, because that is very healthy for your plants. That's a reason why we started trimming the squash as well, is to give them more airflow. And I'm telling you, every time we trim, I swear they're bigger the next day and we're getting fruit. So we haven't had any actual tomatoes form yet. We still just have flowers, but I can't wait to see that first tomato just forming. That would be so cool. Oh wait, I'm such a liar. Oh, look, we have the first one. I'm gonna have to tell Steve, look at that. We have our first tomato. Look at him, he's so cute. Okay, so this is going to be green and red striped. This is a green and red striped tomato. That's so exciting. I love it. All that hard work and we're getting fruit. Like, it's starting to pay off. Plus it's just fun. Steve and I have been out here together working, even with the boys, and we enjoy it. It's work. It's not easy. It's work, but it's rewarding work. And we come out here every night and we walk through the garden and look, and we get up first thing in the morning and we come look, because everything changes so fast. Like, everything grows. It grows overnight. And if you look here, this we just planted. I don't know if you can see, but these are okras. So we'll go down this row and I'll show you. We've got the common ones. These are the Clemson spineless. They're seeds that I can easily get at my feed store. And I'm not just getting a few seeds in a packet, I'm getting a huge pack of seeds. So they're very readily available and they're not overly expensive. So if you like okra, it is a common variety. A lot of heirloom growers complain, oh, you're just growing that old Clemson spineless okra. But who cares? It's food. Grow it. It grows. It produces. I have no complaints about this okra. And then down here, this is, I have to look at the variety I got from Baker's Creek. Some of them still are not up. A lot of them are. These are a red okra. I'll look up the variety and tell you what they are in the description. So a lot of them are up as well. So we'll just kind of letting those go. And then here, these 4 rows are corn. And this has pretty much been a 99% germination rate. They're doing that well. All Silver Queen, we planted them much closer in the rows. We still left a little bit of space between the rows. And the reason for that, what we have experienced for pollination purposes, because corn is wind pollinated. So you need wind to blow the pollen onto the tassels that come out of the corn plant. So one thing that we have started doing is we'll go through and we'll shake the plants on purpose. Another thing you can do is take a paintbrush and brush the pollen onto the paintbrush, and then brush the tassels. Each tassel is attached to one kern kernel. So if that tassel is not pollinated, then you don't get a kernel in that spot on your cob. So you want to make sure that you go through and shake your corn plants or hand pollinate in some kind of a way, just to ensure germination. Planting them closer together in the row like that is also a way to ensure germination for your corn kernels as well. So this is what we have going on for the planted sections as far as the in-ground rows. We have the black over here to kill the grass and the weeds, because we're gonna till a few more rows here. I do have my cherry tomatoes, other than what I've put over there. We will be putting them in a row over here with another trellis. And then for also succession planting or other varieties that we might find that we want to put in the ground and grow. So we're going to go ahead and till this area up, but the black plastic helps kill the weeds, and then we move it. Here in this raised bed, we've got my ginger over here is starting to pop up. This is accidentally a watermelon that got planted right here. He got in to the box with the cucumbers. These are our cucumbers. These little guys here are eggplants, and they're doing okay. But these are all cucumber slicers. These are all slicers. These are sweet bananas, sweet banana peppers. And then I also have another box of ginger down here growing as well. And they're up. Let's see here. See? I don't know if you can see that. So they're coming up. Let's see. In the barrels, I moved the horseradish here. It's recommended to grow them in containers because they can take over a large space. So that's where it's growing for right now. It won't stay there forever, but for right now, that's where it's going to live until we get it a permanent space. Let's see. These are habanero. I don't know what those are back there. Let's take a look. Oh, those are pepperoncinis, Tabasco. This is the jalapeno that made it through the winter. It's trying to come back. These are pimento peppers, more jalapeno. This is cayenne, and then that's more jalapeno. Here's our 2 of the 3 Sisters box, experiment box that we're doing. So we have corn and we have pole beans going in here. Complete and utter experiment. We're just trying to see how they grow together. One thing we have noticed, the beans wrapping around the corn does give the stalk stability. So we've had some critters coming in and digging them up in certain areas, but we're giving it a go. My paste tomatoes are in this box. These are peppers that I had left that I didn't want to get rid of. Oh wow, it washed off. Now I can't read what that was. More cayenne peppers. So those are more cayenne peppers. These are my leftovers that I have to give away. Watermelons, which will be going up soon. We don't know what kind of peppers these are, so they're called Dave's peppers because we're not quite sure what they are. And then these are the rest of my cherry tomatoes that have to go in. And one little lone habanero that's come up so far. Oh, the herb box might need a little bit of water. But my herb box is doing really well. Chocolate mint, pineapple mint, sage, chives, more sage. This is stevia. I threw the strawberries in here because I didn't have anywhere else to put them. Lemon balm. Yeah, we got to get some water in here. This is both oregano, 2 different types. This is an Italian. This is a Greek. This is an Italian oregano. This is 3 different types of basil here. Another basil here, strawberry, parsley, and then the rosemary coming back up there. And then still over here, we've got more asparagus. We're just kind of letting this go wild. What we are going to do, if you can tell, we've moved the wood to 1 stack. So we're moving these racks out, clearing all of this out around the bees. And we're going to put wood chips underneath the bees to try to keep it down. And then what we're going to do is we have these concrete cylinders. We're going to come and we're going to put around this whole area here and widen it, clean it all up, mulch it really heavily with compost, and then mulch on top of that. And we are going to let this just be a wild asparagus bed, and we'll harvest it when we want to harvest it. But this is year number 3, so we can harvest and eat them. Oh, I forgot. Down here, I just planted these cinder blocks with leftovers. These are a long bean. And then I've got black-eyed peas, lima beans, and then the bush cucumbers. I just put them in there because those were there. And so I filled them with compost and planted them to see if they'll grow up the fence. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. I just got this cattle panel today. You should have seen me with it in the truck driving down the road with one arm out the window. And I did have it strapped in, but still, that's a 16-foot cattle panel. And that was like, it's like flopping in the wind and everything. It was crazy. So what we're not 100% sure where we're going to put it, but it is for the watermelon. And what he's thinking right now is putting it up here on this fence. And then boxing in something right here and then making the watermelons vine up it because they are a vine. They are a wanderer. Here we've got peppers and radishes, snow peas, which may do well. They may not. If they don't, we'll put something in that place. More peppers here. These are Ozark peppers. These are AJIs. I don't know what they are, but they're little short squatty ones. I planted them. Here we have the California Wandering Bell, radishes, long beans. This is the Canary bell pepper with more radishes in between them. This is, I can't read it. It's another type of pepper. And then these are pickling cucumbers in the middle here with radishes in both. And then I have bunching onions that I'm going to plant along the edge of each of these boxes. So that's what we have really been working on with the garden. Jonah primed that wall so that we can like start working on getting the garage that's remaining fixed up on the outside. Right now it's just storing basically our whole kitchen for the new house once it's built. But I'm really proud of our garden area. I think it's doing great. And yeah, other than that, I mean, we're just going to keep on planting and keep on growing. I would encourage you to do the same. You do not have to have the perfect scenario to grow your own food. Like I said, we're working with sandy soil, and this is a vast improvement from what we had when we started in 2018. With like sand that would not stand up at all. We couldn't even get it to clump or anything. And we were still able to grow food in that and have a harvest. You don't have to spend a ton of money on having people bring in topsoil. There are alternatives. You don't have to pay for wood chips. There are alternatives. The wood chip tree companies, they have to pay to dispose of those chips at the dump. So if you let them come dump it on your property, you're saving them at least a $60 dump fee if that hasn't gone up since then. So I would encourage you to reach out to your local tree companies, give them an area to dump the mulch if you have it. What we're doing is, I mean, if you look on the back, there's still wood mulch back there from where we had them dump. I mean, we had probably over 35 dump truck loads of mulch dumped here all the way forward. Now we've spread it out, and that's why we have all of this grass, and we've got really good soil back there now. But what we've been doing is, if you dig underneath these piles, they used to be way high, and they've all composted down and broken down, and underneath all of that is good soil, good compost that you can use to fill your raised beds or amend your beds with. So you don't have to pay the money that chip drop charges. You don't have to, you don't have to spend a lot of money to garden. The most expense that we have in this garden here is the fencing and the trellis, and it's just the trellis fencing, because all of that wood that we used, except for these fence posts, is reclaimed from jobs, people taking down decks. They don't want, they don't want them anymore. They're going to throw all of that wood in a dumpster to rot. We bring it home, Steve brings it home, and we repurpose it. These beds here are made out of reclaimed wood from a deck that had a pergola. If you look at the base here, you can see where things were attached to it that we removed in order to use the wood for the raised bed. Now, these we purchased because the ones that he had, they were warped and twisted and it wouldn't have gone in right. This pole here, this one was repurposed, and that one there and that one at the end were repurposed from the stalls that were here from the horses. The bottom board on here was repurposed from the stalls from the horses. The top two he had to buy. The same with the front rails he had to buy. Our gates, all of our gates, except with the exception of this long one right here, have been repurposed from the horses. He just got 2 more off of a job today that we're going to be able to use to actually put a gate on the pumpkin patch back there. Our rain collection system. This is an aerator that was next door on the property. He fixed the bottom and we use it for a rain collection just to have it as a backup. We have another one over there that came off of a job. So reduce, reuse, recycle. You can use old material to make it work. You do not have to spend money to make it work. Now, you're going to have to buy your seeds or have somebody gift them to you. And I would like for that to be your biggest expense other than time. Our biggest investment in all of this is the time. In the waiting, in the building the soil, in just trying to, you know, come out here and mulch it and keep it weed free when we do. And that's it. But you could totally do this. It's not hard. It's a learning curve. Because like we didn't know what the plants needed. We didn't know about pruning. We have kind of figured out like how to tell when the plants need something. If you're overwatering or underwatering. This is another thing that I wanted to show you that we found, not to turn subjects, but this is a mulberry tree. Now I want this tree in the middle of my pasture over there, but we'll probably end up leaving it here for right now. And the mulberries are kind of dry, but get out of the way, leaf. We just found this year. I swear it's never had mulberries on it before. So that's another thing that we've discovered just growing on the property that we weren't aware of. So technically, it might be on our property, just on the other side of the fence, because the property lines are kind of skewed. Anyway, that's my garden update for today. I have the beekeeping beginners part 2 that I'm going to be working on in the next couple of days. That one is going to be a breakdown of, okay, now you have caught your bees. What next? What are you looking at? Which the previous video I did for people who were asking me specific questions, and they built the box, they built my trap, I gave them the dimensions, they built it, they baited it with lemongrass and old comb, and they woke up to a swarm of bees on the bottom of the box the next day. So it does work. You can catch them. You don't have to buy them. You're not guaranteed to catch a swarm, but you can catch them instead of paying for them. You have to be a little bit patient, where with buying them, it's instant gratification. You know when they're going to be delivered, and you're guaranteed to have bees in your box. So we're going to, like I said, we're working on this area over here. What we're going to have to do is close the bees up at night, get up early in the morning and come over here, because when you mow or run the tiller or anything, they've just gotten really aggravated by that. So that's the next project. And yeah, so I feel like there's just so many projects going on right now, but it's not a bad thing. We're working on it. And yeah, that's my garden update for today. If you have any questions, like always, you're more than welcome to leave them in the comments. I do check the comments to see if anyone's leaving them. So if you do have any questions, you can leave a comment there. If you know me personally and you have a question, you can go ahead and give me a call. I'll answer them. I have no problem answering questions over the phone. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe and share the videos if you know anyone who is looking to get into gardening. or into beekeeping, I welcome all of you to come check us out, see what we have going on. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day.